going. All right, guys, welcome to Hamza's Corner.
Oh, hey.
What are you doing there, Tim?
Oh, hey, guys, I didn't see you there.
We just caught Tim doing what he does every day.
Oh, don't mind me. Is it 8 o'clock already?
Welcome to Hamza's Corner, fellas. So this is going to be rapid fire. Essentially, how the outline is going to go is we're going to talk about the championship, Eddie versus Joe B. You're each going to give who you think is going to win, why, who has what accolades. We'll break it down: quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, and then we'll throw a little shtick in there for you, Matt, for Matty Ice's kicker's choice.
Yeah, I've been slacking on that.
Yeah, so there you go. You can go ahead and add it in here.
All right,
so you guys ready to go?
Ready.
Yep.
All right. So first and foremost, maybe we'll get started by who do you guys think is going to win? Eddie versus Joe. This is two people that have been in the league since the inception. Maybe Matt, let's start with you. Who do you think is going to win and why?
Who do I think is going to win, or who do I want is going to win? What I think is going to win, I honestly think Eddie could probably pull off the win. I know he probably has no idea what he's doing, but he's been getting really lucky with his players. Obviously he picked an explanation earlier this year. He picked his players based on names alone with Juju, and I assume Saquon, because he probably doesn't even know who Saquon Barkley is, but he seemed to roll the dice and they all hit. So I would think that he's got a pretty good shot, especially with Barkley. I think is his top player, and it scores him. He could easily score 30 to 40 points each week.
All right. What about you, Tim?
I think Joe is gonna win. I think overall his team's the most consistent. But Eddie is that wild card who can go off and score 170 points, but he also can score 80. So it's a toss-up. I want Eddie to win, but I think Joe will win.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm reversed. I want Joe to win, but I think Eddie will win.
Well, now we got a little bit. We got some dialogue going. So, Matt, one of the things you said is, Eddie's got one of those teams that he sometimes you don't know you don't think you know who he picked. I mean, let's be honest. We all thought he was going to pick, Robbie Gould or Jay Cutler sometime throughout the draft. I agree with that. And as for Joe's team, I said this in an earlier segment. I think his team has been consistently a top performer since day one. I have my cards going towards Joe, but you never know. Just like you said, Eddie's the wild card. He's not only the wild card in life. I don't know if you guys watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but he's also the wild card in the playoffs, because just like you said, Tim, he puts up big numbers sometimes, and then others, sometimes it's just like, what the hell are you doing, Eddie? Why didn't you start that guy? Left Kittle on the bench with 35 points or whatever.
He's our taco.
Definitely our taco.
So let's go down the breakdowns, right? Quarterbacks: Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff. Who do you have as your top and why? Who do you have winning that?
That's a tough one, because Rodgers he's been lacking this year, and Jared Goff obviously
the Bears too.
Yeah, especially against the Bears, and the Bears are going to want revenge. I'm not sure who they play the second week, but he might win that one. But as far as Goff too, he's been kind of not doing well the past couple of weeks, and you could tell he was extremely uncomfortable in Chicago this past weekend. But I do think at home they'll probably turn it around, and I can see a slight edge to Goff. Believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I could see it being Goff, especially with the weapons he has around him. They're
playing Philly. I agree with you there. I think Goff has got his weapons for sure. What about you, Tim?
So I think the gap is a little wider between the two quarterbacks. I think Goff definitely has the advantage. I think he'll bounce back after the Bears beat down. And then what you both are missing is the fact that it doesn't matter who Rodgers is going to play week 2 because the Bears are literally going to kill him. So it doesn't matter. He's out.
Does Eddie have a backup quarterback? I mean, I know he's got 2 backup defenses, but no backup quarterback going in. So that being said, I agree with you. I think Goff. I predict that the Rams are going to have a bounce back week this week, and they're going to have a 5-7 touchdown game. I know that's a big margin, 5-7, but I think he's going to throw for at least 250 yards. I think it's going to be a good game. But the Eagles defense, it depends. They might come to play. So
yeah, they're definitely not the Super Bowl team they were last year.
Definitely not. Well, it looks like we got an advantage right now for Goff. So that's Joe B. Running backs, we got. We'll start off with running back 1, and I think this is a really good matchup. You got Barkley against Tennessee and Elliott against Indy.
That is a pretty good one. Both teams have really good run defenses too.
Do you need some time to think? Maybe we'll start with you, Tim. What are your thoughts?
My thought is I like Saquon. Actually, I think he's just a beast. He's just on a shitty team. Ezekiel Elliott's obviously good too. But if Saquon was on almost any other team, dude, he would just be a freak. But yeah, they're both going against pretty good defenses. I think Tennessee's defense is a little bit better, so that'll be a little tougher matchup. But I'm going to stick with Saquon.
Okay.
I'd have to give the slight edge to Saquon as well. Just agreeing with Tim. I mean, you see what he does with like no offensive line. All he has is OBJ, who I don't know if he's playing this week. Obviously, he wasn't playing last week, but if he's not, I mean, it doesn't really open up the field for him. Then again, Ezekiel Elliott is, especially the way Dallas has been rolling lately. The addition of Amari Cooper has helped that offense out a lot, and that's really going to help out Joe. But I like Tim said, Saquon's a freak, and he can light up anytime he wants.
Well, let's not discredit Tennessee's defense. They've done a really good job stopping the run. I will say when I look at this matchup, it is truly a toss-up because just like you guys said, great points. Elliott, if the Cowboys can scare them with the passing game early, the problem is with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is garbage, and he does not utilize his run game enough, and he doesn't utilize the small dump passes to Elliott like Eli Manning does to Saquon Barkley. That does not mean that Eli Manning isn't garbage too. I'm just saying Saquon Barkley gets a lot of short dump passes where I think the advantage definitely goes to Eddie there with getting a little bit more reception points in a half-point PPR league that we're in.
Hey, don't talk shit about Eli. He was the very first pick in my franchise ever, thanks to Tom. So I have to have a little respect for him. Okay.
Moving on to RB2s. So we got a couple options here for RB2s. We got Jones for Eddie, and then we got White for Sloppy Joes. But when you take a look at the rest of the running back core, you got Joe, who also has Cohen. He's got Ingram. I think that's it. I mean, he's got a decent running back core to where he can sub a couple of those guys in. Who do you guys think will be his RB2, and how would that match up with Eddie?
I think Joe likes to play White a lot just because he's good with the PPR. Obviously, Brady he can pass the ball around to anybody, and I know they have like 17 running backs that they use, but with Jones, I'm not sure who's the other running backs Eddie has, but Joe's got a lot of depth with running backs. He does, yeah. He's been hurt in and out, on and off lately, right?
Yeah.
So I just think Joe has more of depth, and he'll be able to, flex guys in the running back 2 spot and the flex spot if he wants, and he's definitely got the advantage there, I think, with the running backs.
Tim?
Yeah, I agree. Joe definitely has more depth. Eddie, again, if he plays Aaron Jones, he won't be able to play him in the second week because the Bears are going to kill him. So, so it leaves him with Adrian Peterson. And then, yeah, again, Joe can move people around. I think Tariq Cohen should be his running back too. I guess it doesn't really matter where you put him in the lineup, but he's the running back number 2. James White last week didn't really do too much. I didn't see the game, so I don't know if it was game flow or Sonny Michel just slowly taking the reins over completely. And then last thing I can say is fuck Mark Ingram. So always poaching my touchdowns. That's why I'm not in the ship right now.
Well, yeah, that's the only reason, Tim.
The only reason.
Going into the wide receivers, we're getting a little bit lengthy here, so I'm gonna try to put a little 15-second time clock in my head as we go through. I'll put a little bit longer for wide receiver ones, just because we do have a good matchup when it comes to wide receiver ones. You got Juju Smith-Schuster going up against Tariq Hill. Juju Smith is against New England. Tariq Hill is against the Chargers.
Tyreek Hill. That guy's been insane all year long. He's got Patrick Mahomes thrown to him without a question. Tyreek Hill. And Pittsburgh has been faltering a lot lately, so got to go with Tyreek.
Yeah, there's really no arguing that one. Juju's been great, but at least for Juju, he has a number 1 receiver in Antonio Brown actually taking the double coverage, which is why Juju, I think, has been so successful. But yeah, you can't stop Tariq, man. He's good.
I'll have to differ from you guys. I feel like Tariq, I think he got hurt at the end of the last game. A little bit. I didn't want to say he got injured. He got hurt. And Juju Smith against New England, I mean, I think that would be a great matchup. The Chargers, their defense against the pass game is, I think it's okay. But that's where I think, New England doesn't have enough in their secondary to defend against 2 guys. I think, like you said, Tim, they'll definitely have enough to defend against 1 guy, being Antonio Brown. But I think that's a toss-up there, because you never know how the second week goes. And let's be honest, Juju Smith has been putting up Juju Smith numbers. He's acting like a 21-year-old out in the field, earning his money. I think he's 22. So 20, yeah, he just turned 22. So that's crazy for youngins. But yeah, man. So jumping into wide receiver 2. So we got Adams and Julio Jones.
I'm gonna have to give the edge to Eddie on that one. Devontae Adams has been really good with Rodgers this year. I know he'll probably die, like Tim says,
How'd you know?
Against the Bears, but he's been really good. It almost seems like he's getting a touchdown every game and close to 100 yards. And Julio, yeah, he gets the yardages, he gets the receptions, but he doesn't get a lot of touchdowns. So I have to give the edge to Eddie on that one.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, I think the edge goes to Eddie for the and then Joe B the rest of the time.
I will say, I mean, week 1, you never know. I think I have to disagree with you guys again, just because Adams is going against the Bears secondary, who shut down some of the best wide receivers that the Rams have. Now, granted, I think Adams can do a ridiculous catch for 70 yards and fucking ruin my whole prediction. Because the Bears will probably, I hope they don't shit the bed, but they tend to do that a lot. I hope just demolish the Packers.
Tim hopes for a complete mass murder of the Green Bay Packers. So.
For sure.
Going into Julio Jones, he's hit or miss too. So I really don't have a say. I don't have a pick there. I think it's a toss-up. We'll see what week 2. I think that matchup will be more of a week 2 thing. If you take a look at their other wide receivers, there's Woods for Eddie, there's Godwin, and really that's it. And then for the Sloppy Joes, he's got a few people with Lockett, Samuels. If Sanders comes back, that might be somebody he puts in as a wide receiver too. If he comes back and healthy. I think
he's on IR. He's on IR.
Okay, so that takes that one out, and then Wilson Jr. So yeah, I personally I think I put the wide receiver 2 category in the sloppy Joe's league, but never know. So jumping in, we're gonna go into the tight end spot. Tight end, we'll do tight end and flex a little bit together because you guys have heard a little bit about running backs and wide receivers already. And then Eddie likes to have several tight ends, one of them being in his flex sometimes when he's smart enough to start him. That being said, you got Ebron and Kittle for Eddie against Travis Kelce. And then somebody else that Joe decides to put in flex. What's the conversation like there, Tim?
Hey, switching it up.
I was just so used to going first, you know.
I'd say, I mean, Eddie kind of has a boomer bust in Ebron. I mean, he's gone off multiple touchdown games. Kelce is obviously the better overall, more consistent. Even Kittle, you know, he's been very good too, but he's had some pretty shitty games. As far as flexes go, I like Rams receivers. I didn't like them last week, and you know, the Bears defense proved why. But yeah, I like Woods, but
all right,
yeah.
As far as tight end, you know, if you consider it 2 against 1, you give it to Eddie, but you can only play one in the tight end spot. And with having 2 really, really good tight ends, sometimes you might get confused to which one to play, and you might play the wrong one, you know, for that week. So Kelce I think he's ranked number 1. I'd have to give that to Joe, with very slight edge to Joe. And as far as flex, I just think Joe has more to work with than Eddie does. You know, better players that he can put in. So I would have to give the flex to Joe as well.
Looking at the conversation as you guys are talking, I was thinking Eddie, but then the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce going against the Chargers, you're going to see a lot of short passes in the end zone. Let's get in the touchdown zone. Let's be honest. Kansas City Chiefs have proven that with all the targets that they have. I feel like Kelsey's definitely going to have the advantage there. I like Ebron. I like Kittle. I don't like Eddie making the decision on who to start. I think that's going to be the wild card right there. So as far as flex goes, I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Eddie kind of he stunts himself by having Dak Prescott. So I was wrong. He does have a backup quarterback. He's got Dak Prescott on his bench, and then he's got 2 defenses on his bench, which really stunt his ability to have depth there if somebody were to go down, like Adrian Peterson, for instance. So, awesome. Well, defenses, we got Washington's defense. Okay, so Eddie's got Washington's defense, Baltimore defense, New Orleans defense. Joe's got the Rams defense. Who do you think is going to be the better defense going in? And let's be honest, do we think Eddie's going to start the right defense?
I think Eddie's got too many defenses to try and figure that one out. And based on the last round with Joe, he played the right defenses each week. So he had Kansas City and the Rams, I think. I don't know if he still has Kansas City or not.
He still does. He still does. My bad.
Yeah, they didn't go off, but they put up, at least what they were projected. So I think Joe's got the edge for that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And he's played the Redskins defense for like 3 or 4 weeks straight. I don't really know what he's doing there. I know last week matchups against the Ravens and Saints weren't the best, but they still did better than the Redskins. Yeah, it's just there's too many options, and I don't know what he's doing with the Redskins, man.
I think options breeds inability to perform, personally. I think if you have a lot of options, that's where you fuck yourself. And I would have to agree with you. I think going into it, 3 mediocre defenses, 3 decent defenses, but still mediocre compared to 2 top-notch defenses. I have to give the edge to Joe there. So jumping in, to kickers, Matty Ice. I will let you take the reins here.
Well, refresh
Kicking
my
it
memory.
Matty
Take it
Ice.
away.
No,
Take
Joe
it
has
away, Matt.
Zerline. Joe has Zerline, correct?
Yep. And
Who
Pablo
did Eddie
has
have?
what?
Lutz. Well, Lutz has been really good this year. I think this is the second season. Playing in the dome definitely helps. Which his first or his next two games are where?
Lutz is playing in Carolina first, and
then
Zerline is playing in Philly.
So you got two away games.
Or no, Lutz is playing in Carolina. Zerline's playing in LA.
Okay, I was trying to go back to back with Lutz for his 2 weeks, but
I'm not sure who they're playing the second week.
okay. If Lutz is in the dome, that'll definitely help him out. I could see him, especially with Carolina being so bad. I could probably see him getting like 13, 14 points the first week, and then the second week maybe if they're going to score so much because they're in the Superdome, probably closer to like 8. Because they'll just have a bunch of extra points and not a lot of field goals. As far as Zerline goes, he could probably put up double digits each week. I don't know if they're going to be high, but at least 10 points. That would probably help Joe out. It's going to be close, to be honest. They both got really good kickers. So
Do you think that's what brought them to the Super Bowl?
I do.
Haters.
That is exactly what brought them to the championship.
Regardless
of what anybody else says, Caston.
You mean their kickers didn't hit the post 5 times?
Oh my God, someone should have Parkey. So,
I'm surprised Eddie hasn't picked him up yet. Oh man, well, going into it, so we got going into the matchups, quarterbacks, Joe, running backs. I think the favorite was Eddie, RB1. RB2, running backs, was Joe. Wide receiver 1 was Eddie. Wide receiver 2 was Joe. Tight ends was Joe. Flex was Joe. Defenses was Joe. And kicker was a toss. So it's 7-2 or 6-2. Is what we found out. Favors of Joe to Eddie, at least going into week 1 of their playoffs. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Yeah, man, it'll be fun. It'll be good to see. And I think the topic that everyone's wondering is if Eddie wins, do we send him the trophy?
That's a big no. That's a big hell no. Sorry, Eddie. But I'm pretty sure the last trophy you had was in the closet. So, you got to take better care of that stuff.
Just like his sexuality.
There was a lot in that closet. So sexuality could be in there too.
Yeah.
But I think the commissioner would just hang on to it at that point.
Is there a circumstance where you would agree to send Eddie the trophy if he won?
If he gave everybody their money back.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, fellas, any closing comments, any thoughts, questions going in? Free for all for the next minute.
Hamza, what's our bet next year?
I
think we should clear the air.
I'm really disappointed that you reneged on the bet.
I don't think it was. I think we had a moment of unclarity because alcohol, and there might have been some misinterpretation of what was going on, but I didn't shake your hand on anything. I know we discussed some stuff, but I am willing to make a bet. I'm willing to put it on video right now for next year, regardless of even knowing what my team is. I think that could show you how serious I am about a bet.
What's the bet gonna be? Let's make it happen. Tim, you want in on this?
No.
I think
I'll focus on winning the championship.
Obviously, we can't do it this upcoming draft. So from 2 drafts, whoever loses during the regular season to each other has to wear some short ass shorts and a tight ass shirt tied up in a bow, and has to wear that at Topgolf or wherever we decide to go on draft day.
Do a little Daisy from Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes, there you go. Daisy.
All right. That is a deal. You
And
heard it first, ladies and
there you
gentlemen.
go.
So there you go. You have it right there. You have the breakdown for the championships. I think it'll be fun. Thank you guys for coming. Tim, I meant that literally and figuratively. Matt, appreciate it. Happy Christmas. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Happy Kwanzaa Hanukkah or
Back
happy
to what I was
Kwanzaa
doing.
Hanukkah, whatever it is.
Bye, guys.
Go back to what you were doing, Tim.